child, I was very like insecure and very like, not really open-minded, and I was really scared of like opinions from other people, and like, I was scared that they would talk behind my back about me. So I didn't really go out and did the things that I wanted to do. So and because of that, I'm really proud that I started this whole like Instagram journey, because if I didn't have done that, that was something I would really regret. So for me, that was a really big lesson I learned, that I just, people will talk and people will, there are always people that are not going to like you, and it's totally okay that not everyone likes you. That, that doesn't really work. So.
Welcome everyone to LifewithLiza podcast. Our mission at LifewithLiza is to share people's stories and the challenges that they have overcome, so that those who are listening in can get the strength, the courage, and the hope to be their better selves. Today, we have a very inspiring guest. She has created an online community of over 40,000 people and is sharing very beautiful aesthetic fashion content. What I love about her page is how sneakily motivation and inspiration is incorporated almost in every piece of content that she puts out there. She has also initiated a few projects, for example, Project Me, where she actually wanted to make sure that people take action and become their better selves. Finja, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's such a pleasure to have you here. And I wanted to start our conversation with, let's dive deeper into the Project Me. I loved the project. I love how simple the rules were. Can you please share a bit more, actually, what was that project about and what was your intention and why did you decide to create it?
Yes, thank you. So actually, there are a lot of challenges out there. Like, I think the most popular one is the 50 challenge, 50 Project 50. And I was a little bit inspired by that, because at the beginning I wanted to do that challenge. But for me personally, with a lot of going on, like with studying and stuff, I didn't have the time to, do all the stuff that Project 50 is like giving, because I think they say that you have to work out 2 times a day for each 45 minutes, and that's just too much for me. I don't have the time for that. And I think many people don't have the time for that. So I wanted to create a challenge that's really like constructed to my goals and like to the goals that most people want to reach, that still have a life outside of like working on themselves. So I wanted to create like a very like my challenge. So that's why also the Project Me, the name is perfect, I think. I started by like introducing to my followers that I want to do a project and also let them be a part of it. I let them choose the name, and so I let them also vote for the name. I had like 4 or 5 names, and then I said, guys, let you choose which one you think is the best, because they are also a part of the challenge. And yes, I think maybe I can explain the rules a little bit.
Yes, please.
So first rule was to wake up before 8 a.m. For me, that was not so difficult because I'm more like a morning person. I sleep very like early at night and wake up very early in the morning. I don't know. I don't like the dark and like, I don't know. I like it when it's sunny and, the second rule was to have a morning routine, like plan your day, journaling, or make your bed. And the third rule was to have one workout every day, and it doesn't matter what kind of workout. It could be stretching. It could be like, I don't know, a 5-minute or 10-minute booty workout or something. It's just to keep you active, not to, lose calories or like do the most, but just to, keep you moving and have like that routine that you do every day, something for your body, like to move. The fourth rule was to eat healthy, like just incorporate more like vegetables and fruits into the diet, like not just go straight from, I don't know, eating McDonald's to, only vegetables and so, but just to, get a healthier routine. The 5 rule was that to drink at least 2 liters of water, and only, water. Don't, also juice and something like that wasn't included. That doesn't count. So you can drink it, of course, but I didn't count it for the 2 liters of water. The 6th rule was to incorporate a skincare routine in the morning and also in the evening. For me, it's kind of normal. I already have a skincare routine, like in the morning and the evening, but sometimes when I'm too stressed in the morning, I forgot to do it. That's why it was like something I wanted to include in the challenge, because I think it's very important, especially in the months where the sun is out, so you don't forget your SPF and something like that. And the last rule was to walk at least 7,000 steps a day. That in this rule, I got also inspired by the 50 Project Challenge, because I think they say like 10K steps, but for me, 10K steps, it's a lot of steps a day. You have to be really active. I think, walked like 2 hours or something like that straight. And I don't have the time for that, to go out every day and walk 2 hours. And for me, I feel like 7K steps is easy to do a day, but still also you have to do something for it, Yes, these were the rules. So for everyone who's listening now, you understand what Project Me is about. Yes.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. And I think here is a very important point that I just wanted to underline, is that you found something that you were inspired by, for example, Project 50 or other projects out there. But at the same time, you customized it for something that would actually work for you and the lifestyle that you have. And I think it's so inspiring, because so many times what could be, you just find something that works for someone else, and then you just try to do it exactly like they do. And then at the end, it will never become your routine. Maybe you will be very hard on yourself and you actually follow it for like a few weeks, days, months, whatever it is. And then eventually you just say, no, I cannot do that. But if you actually get inspiration from somewhere and then it just adjusted, for example, as you said, 10K, walking 10,000 steps, it's a bit too much, but 7K is a good number for me. It's still a bit of a challenge, but it's not too much and not too unrealistic. And I know that I'm more likely to follow through. And I think more people just should take this as an example and following that. Just if something works for someone else, it doesn't necessarily will work for you. Make sure that you always listen to yourself, to your lifestyle, to your unique needs, and create accordingly your routines.
Yes, that's so true. Yes.
And I was wondering, out of the habits, out of these rules that you've created, do you have one that you would say was like the most impactful, the most important one?
I would say for me, it was probably the 7K steps, I think, because I really enjoyed tracking my steps, and I also for me, I personally felt like I felt the difference of walking 7K steps a day than like a month ago. I had the first few days I had a little bit of I felt it in the legs after a few days, which was also very good because I knew that the challenge that I was creating was working. So yes, I still do, even the challenge for me is over. I still have found for me that I want to reach not according to the challenge, but every day reach the 10K steps. So yes, that for me was the best and most impactful challenge.
You know, it's crazy because I now have an Aura ring now, and it measures my steps and also inactivity. So basically, how much time a day I just spend sitting down. And then it's crazy. It's crazy how little we actually move, especially when you study a lot or if you work a lot. You just spend so much time sitting at your desk or just like sitting down and not moving. And I feel like having that extra encouragement of having a goal, for example, to have the 7,000 steps is so useful because it actually pushes you to move. And movement is just so good for us. Otherwise, we would not do that.
Yes. And also for me, I think I felt like I got at the beginning of the year to my birthday, I got the Apple Watch, and I felt like that this would, motivated me more because I really could track the steps, because, you can also track it on your phone, but I don't have my phone with me all the time. So, for me, that really motivated me. And also like to, instead of taking the escalator, I would take the stairs or something like that. It was like small changes that are, when you look back, you don't really care, like, but it really made an impact like on the big picture. So
yeah, for sure. And also I just wanted to share just from my personal life at work. During COVID, we actually had an Excel file where it was like the walking challenge, and everyone from my team would enter how many steps they did in the week. And then you enter per day. And then you just feel sometimes there used to be days when you just like didn't leave home and you just spend the whole day at home. And then you feel so embarrassed to enter in that tracker. I did 39 steps today. That's like all I did. And then even, that, for example, having this accountability, because then, other people will see what you do, and then at least that motivates you to walk more. So I feel like having a goal or having like doing it with other people also helps and actually like to move your body and move around.
Yes, true. Yeah, that's also a reason why I personally think I did like so good at the challenge, because I shared it with my community, and I also let my community be a part of it. So that really motivated me, because I also shared my journey, and I also wrote with many of my followers, and they shared pictures and like shared their goals and was like, "Hey, Finja, I reached 7K steps today, yay!" And I was like, "Yay!" So it was also very motivating for me, and I think also very motivating for my community. So there was like like both of us could like get inspiration, motivation from that.
And actually like achieve something together. And I love that you like align a huge group of people to do something, to take action that will actually make them feel better about themselves and move them closer to actually becoming their better selves. I actually wanted to ask you, how did you start your Instagram page? How was your journey with it? Did you always want to create a community, or was it just something that happened unexpectedly?
So like, since I can remember, I was like that girl that always took the picture or always like filmed something. Like from an early age, I always like stealed the camera from my mother and like took random pictures on holidays or from my family or something. I also forced my parents to film me and my best friend while we were doing a best friend movie and something like that. So it was, I don't know, it was always my kind of passion, I would say. And before I was like creating really like influencer content, I would still go out with my best friend and we would do like crazy shootings. We would wake up at 6 in the morning and go to the pool on holidays and like, I don't know, would steal like a watermelon from the breakfast and would do pictures at the pool, and we never really posted. It was like, I don't know, I was like 15 or something, but it was just for us. So we had so much fun doing that. And I also, before COVID started, I was also a wedding photographer. So that was also one thing I would say had helped me a lot, like becoming what I am today. And also, like, since I was a little girl, like I said, I always wanted to do, like, my dream job was becoming an actor, because I would love to, work with a camera. But the problem was I wanted not only be in front of the camera, but also behind it. I would wanted to do the whole thing, So becoming like an influencer, I think, naming myself an influencer is kind of funny, because I don't know, I don't feel like one, but I think becoming one is like the perfect path for me, because it's both. You are behind the camera, you are in front of the camera, you have the you have the whole control over what you put out. And so I think that's the reason why I started it. And I would also say that also, Instagram is sometimes a very like toxic place. And I wanted to create like something that, where people feel hard to compare to myself. I don't share like, I don't want to share all my perfect things and like be like, yeah, look here, that's what I did and that's what I bought and that's what I have, and you don't have it, like that. So I wanted to like create content that really inspires and motivates people. And also that are people, I know you can never say never, anyone is comparing them, but I think for me, I'm trying as much as I can to create content where people don't compare themselves to me, but like be more inspired than compare. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that you do feel it when you open your page, that you have such an inspiring vibe and energy, and you're very sincere in what you're sharing. So that's why I really, really appreciate your content. And it's just not only just beautiful to watch, because you do create gorgeous shots that are so aesthetic. I'm like, oh my God, they look so good. But at the same time, you enter like beautiful inspirational quotes and those small nudges for people to actually become their better selves. And that's why I find it that you can feel that energy, that you actually want to make at least your page a better place, that actually gives this inspiration, hope for people. And I was wondering, where do you actually, so you mentioned that you never thought that you would be an influencer, now calling yourself an influencer feels a bit weird. But where do you see yourself actually going? What would be your dream with your community, with your page? How would you see your future?
Yeah, I would say that, I would love to inspire even more people, like grow. And also I really would love to like do big projects where I, maybe create my own planner. That would be my big dream, to create my own planner to purchase, because I feel like for me personally, I'm such a planning, writing to-do list kind of person. So for me, finding a perfect planner is very difficult. I have a lot of planners that I use, but I would love to have like the one planner where everything I need is combined in one, so I don't have to switch all the time. So that would be like one of my big dreams to, reach. And and also like inspire a lot of people in the process, of course.
And also you managed to do all of this No wonder that you have so many planners and like write it down to-do list, because you also have full-time study and you're doing all of this on the side, creating all of this inspiring content. So can you please tell me a bit more about your study, what you actually do, and how did you manage to combine the busy life of being a full-time student with all of this that you do on the side?
Yes, so I actually started like posting serious content like a year ago, like when COVID was fully here, I would say, because, you know, for me, I started studying 2019. The name of my study is called Media and Communication Management. So it would go pretty much along with, you know, becoming an influencer or being present on Instagram. So I created the page, or I started to post seriously because I first of all thought that it would help me, which it did a lot in my studies. I also did recently, like a month ago or something, I wrote my bachelor thesis. So like the final paper you have to write after you're finished. So, and also that really was my plan to like include my Instagram account and like my knowledge of Instagram and influencer into this paper, which for me, I think I did really good. And yeah, that was like my my topic. It was like, how believable are influencers, and how much does the way you believe what they say, like on the I don't know how to translate it in English, but
You're doing great.
like
You're doing great.
the thank you. Like the how does the size, like the follower number, have an impact on the way you believe? You know, like does like the micro influencer, do you believe them more, or do you believe more the influencers that have like 1 million followers or something like that? So that was my topic, and like it was my plan from the beginning to like include it in my study, but I didn't believe I would do that good, you know, like in that good way. And so yes, to come back to your question, I actually started my account in 2019, and in 2022 I started also internship, which I did full time for 1 semester. That was also a part of our like study, and because I liked it there so much, and they liked me and my my abilities so much, I worked for them even after the semester was over. So in the last semester, like when I wrote my thesis and my paper, I was still working there, like I think 20 hours a week, and also did like Instagram. So that was for me like, I had a job, I had Instagram, I had my studies, there was a lot going on. And I also just recently moved with my boyfriend into our own flat. So that was also something that was very like difficult for me to like start, you know, doing laundry and stuff. Like when you live at home, you do it, but you know, when you don't do it, nothing happens, you know, like someone else from the family is doing it. But if you are living alone or with your boyfriend, you know, you have to split the chores. And if you don't do it, then nobody else does it. So that was also something I had to learn, and that I had to, you know, write on my to-do list, and which also filled my day with a lot of like tasks. So for me in the beginning, it was very difficult, but I think COVID had a pretty like good, I would say a good effect on my studies, because of that, I had a lot of time at home. I had like only homeschooling home studying. I don't know what it's called, and that then I had a lot of time to work on my process, and like study on my own, and not on the not in the schedule my uni is like giving me, because I had my own, and that worked so much better for me than like at the beginning where COVID was not here. I could see it on my grades. They were so much better than in the beginning, because I, for me, had found a way to, study better than on the schedule from the university. So yeah, that was, I really did answer your question in a lot of, different ways, but I hope I did answer it.
Yeah, for sure. And I have a few questions that I wanted to ask you from your answer, because you just mentioned that you wrote this thesis on this interesting topic, but you didn't say what was the outcome. So does the credibility of the, I think everyone listening, it was like, so what was the outcome? What was the outcome?
Yeah.
So is someone who has 1 million followers more believable than the micro-influencer, or is the micro-influencer more believable? Can you please share the findings of your thesis?
So what I found out, for me, I also did an, what is it called? Where you question people, like not an interview, but like
a survey?
Yes, a survey. I did a survey, for all my German followers, to, get into the mind of, people who follow influencer. For me, I also follow influencer, but since I am one, it's hard for me to say, because I have more information and more, I have a different mindset than people who just follow influencers. And from what I found out is that micro-influencers sometimes are more believable, but not because they are less followers, but because they are more engaging with their followers. Because when you have 1 million followers, most of the influencers, with 1 million followers, they don't answer the comments. They don't really interact with their community. They just post and, get the likes. And yeah, you feel like as a follower, you have like such a big distance between you and the person you follow. And with micro influencers, because they are more engaging, you feel like they're more like of a friend, like more a friend to you than big followers, because you can write them, they write back, and so that's what that's what I found out.
That's very interesting.
Was very interesting. Yes.
I was just about to say it was such an interesting discovery, and I do also think that that's true, because with people with smaller followers, smaller follower count, they do reply more often, and they actually, you have such an engaging way to interact. I love it personally myself as well. I love talking to my community, and they share their problems and their questions, and then you just like there for them, and you really build a very special relationship. I have a few followers that have been with me for such a long time, and I feel like they really know me, and I really know their questions and struggles. So we're having such a great time together. And another part that I also wanted to go back on your original reply, when you were saying that you had your studies, your internship, the social platform, and moving houses, living with your boyfriend, trying to figure that out. That's absolutely crazy. That's so much happening. And just to find also at the same time, with all of this busy schedule, to actually find time for yourself and for the self-care routines and activities. So how did you actually also, was it something that you just like planned? Was it, for example, workout or get the 7,000 steps? Was it always just on your to-do list? Or how did you actually make sure that you still follow the healthy lifestyle with a huge amount of responsibilities that you put on your plate?
Yes, so for me, I'm personally a person who really loves to be alone. So that's why for me it wasn't really something new, because when I was living with my parents and when I was, not studying, when I was still in school, I would take like at least a few hours a week for me personally, just alone time. So it doesn't matter. It could be a workout. It could be, just, I don't know, sitting on the bed and listening to music or something like that. So for me, it was like already included in my routine, I would say, because I can't, if I don't have time alone, a lot of days after, I get really, nervous and really grumpy. And so that's like a must for me to have time alone. And I think it's also a very important topic to, being able to have time with yourself and, I don't know, get a coffee with yourself or just read a book or, just sit in the room alone, So that was for me something that I would enjoy very much. And also, like I mentioned, I'm a morning person. So I wake up like when I was studying and when I was writing my bachelor, I was like I had a routine that I was waking up like 1 or 2 hours before I had like planned to start studying. So I had like my 1 or 2 hours just for myself, where I would, work out or create content or I don't know, journal and something like that. So that was like my me time, and that was also very like I think if I didn't did that and if I didn't had these 1 or 2 hours a day, I wouldn't have done so great on my bachelor, because that was really for me something that was essential and also helped me to stay focused, because otherwise I wouldn't drown into the work I had to do. And so that was like my way to cope with it. And also I canceled all the meetings and stuff and that I had in the week. I only worked, and I also, with my boss, they were also very understanding. They told me I could do home office if I want to. I think I need to explain what I do as a work, like what I work. I'm also for a little startup. I'm a content creator. Like I'm responsible for the social media. I'm responsible for their ads, and I create the ads, I put out the ads, I create the content, like something like that. And so that helped me also a lot to gain knowledge, and also gain knowledge from the other side of the brand, because they are in my work, I was in a position from the brand, I started to look at the influencers and at the social media as a side from a brand. And that was also very interesting, because so in the beginning, I only had the view of, influencers to the social media platform, Instagram and TikTok. But now I also know how, behind the curtains, I would say, the stuff works, and how the influencers get chosen, how, which content works for companies and which doesn't. Because at the beginning, that was something I really struggled, because I thought that content, no matter who is publishing it, works the same, but it doesn't. If you are really a startup or a company, you need to create different content. And that was also something I really enjoyed learning. Because now I'm a little bit more understanding also to the companies that write me and want to work with me, because I know how behind the scenes how it all works and something like that. So that's what I'm doing, or what I did. that whole time. To come back to your question, I'm really answering the question like, I don't know, like
I love all the inputs and
like
all
that.
the stories
But
that you include. It gives another dimension. So please, go continue doing this. I love that.
okay, perfect. Thank you. So so for me that was like these 2 hours or 1 hour a day was like my main source of like motivation and inspiration for the whole day. So yeah, that really worked well for me. And also I planned the whole project when I was studying, because I was so inspired, and I thought I need to do something after I'm done, something that helps me get back on track and not fall into, if you hand in the paper, you're like, okay, I'm done, I don't do anything anymore, I just chill, I'm lazy. And I didn't want that. I wanted to still take the motivation I was having every day and also include it into the days that I'm not studying or writing. And so I created a challenge, like I think 3 weeks before handing in the paper, so I could really just start. I really started the day after I handed in my project, so that was for me something that really helped me also get all the stress out and really have the time to focus on myself. So that was also one point I think is very important to, when you have a busy schedule and that there's a time or a date that you have to hand in the project, or where's your exam or something, and that after that day it's finished and you don't have to do anything. Most of the time you will fall into like a hole of unproductivity, and where you're just chilling in bed and watching TikToks all day or Netflix or I don't know. And for me, I still wanted to learn and work on myself, also while chilling. It's like you have to find the balance. So I don't run all day through town and like do stuff. I still chill. So, but I have like a good balance between those. And that was something that really helped me. And I think I will do in the future if I'm having something like that again, like a busy schedule, that I really start, if it's only for me or for me and my community, to start like a project me number 2 or something, because that really helped me get out that stress. And yeah,
I think you mentioned such a great point when you said that you don't want to fall into the hole of unproductivity and laziness after handing in your final project and finishing the assignment. And I think it's almost just, it's such human nature to do so, because you fall from one extreme to another extreme. You pushed yourself so hard, you were so productive, you finally accomplished that now you feel like, okay, now I can fall to another extreme of just basically not taking care of myself, just chilling on and watching TikToks, which in the end don't bring that much satisfaction if that's the only thing that you're doing. So actually, it's so smart of you to plan ahead. You're like, aha, I know that this will happen unless I have the project me, unless I follow some rules that can actually help me. And to actually foresee that and plan into your schedule, I think that's something that everyone listening in can already take away, that you know yourself, know the behavior patterns that you would have, and plan ahead for them before they actually happen. And also another point that I really loved was how impactful you mentioned it was for you to have those like 1 or 2 hours in the morning where you just get to spend on yourself and what you need to do for yourself before you actually jump into your responsibilities, whether it is studying, whether it is working. Because for me personally, I find I wake up at 5 or 6 in the morning every day just because I love that part of the day where I get to spend time exactly how I want it. I can drink my coffee very slowly, read a book, do a workout, and it's so quiet outside. I feel like the whole world is still asleep and I get to spend time just with myself. And whenever it gets very busy and in the morning, for example, I would need to start working right away, and then I don't get my me time after a few days, I already feel so like nervous, like, oh my God, I really need to have some me time. I don't feel good without it. And so I could really, really feel you when you were saying like, I need my alone time. I take my alone time. When I don't take my alone time, I don't feel good. I was like, okay, me too.
Yes, yes. Yes, but I feel like it's so important, and I feel like, having time for yourself is also something that many people need to learn, because, alone time also means like alone time without like your phone or something. Because, you can be alone if you're watching TikTok, but then you don't feel alone. You know what I mean? So you don't have like time with your thoughts and, just with yourself. You're just like, you're not with yourself alone, if you know what I mean. So I think that's something which is very important, and also practicing that kind of like alone time and me time is also for the brain and also for the body very important. I just recently read like also for my bachelor, I read an article about how TikTok is like messing up with your dopamine in the brain. And I found that so fascinating and also kind of creepy, so that I am trying to, just live in the moment and also enjoy the slowness of the day. Like, as you said, like I can drink my coffee as slow as I want. I can read as long as I want. So I think that is something we should all practice more, because, as much as we can consume social media, and also for me as a creator, I of course need to consume content to just create content. Like I said, to create like a community, you need to engage with the people and something like that. And that only works if you spend like enough time on social media and doing that. So I need something that's, something that is not as fast and as, crazy and wild and colorful, like something that is, mindful and slow. So I think that is something, I'm also trying in my me time. So really me time and not me and my phone
I
time,
love that. I think this was a very, very important point that you raised, and there actually it was twofold. I think point number one was, which I just cannot stress the importance of it. It's like taking proper time to rest and connect with yourself and just being by yourself. It's not the same when you have constant distraction. For example, watching TikToks or Netflix, it's very, very entertaining, and it's more like distracting you from actually having the thoughts. It's like, oh, what are actually my dreams? What do I actually want to do with my life? Am I happy with what I'm doing? And if you're watching TikTok a lot, you will just not be, and I have nothing against TikTok, but I'm just saying it works. It doesn't, the pattern and the algorithm does not necessarily work in your favor in terms of you actually going out there and then creating the life you want. It could work as a distraction because it, as you mentioned, the algorithm is working for you to create all this dopamine, and then you actually get hooked on it. And I don't know if I'm the only one or if it happens for more people, but sometimes I find myself scrolling on Instagram or on TikTok, and then I feel like, okay, I need to stop and just like go and do something more productive. And I almost cannot stop it. Like you're like one more video and then one more video. And then you don't feel good because you're like, I feel like I want to stop, but almost like you still cannot close it. And it still feels so, yeah, it just pulls you in.
Yes, yes, yes. I know exactly what you mean. Like also for me, like I also turned out the notifications on like TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that, because for me, I felt like when I was, working on something or like having time for me alone, I was so much distracted by getting notifications all also because, I also get the notifications on my Apple Watch. So that's also the reason I turn off all the notifications, only like important one I still have on. But for me, that's also something because, you're scrolling and scrolling through TikTok or something, and then you're thinking, okay, I need to stop. And then, again, you get a message from Instagram or something, then you think, oh, okay, message. And you go on the message, you reply, and then you're on TikTok and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling on Instagram. So that's like something that's, like like a devil's
It's a loop.
road.
It's a loop.
I don't know how to say it in English.
Just like
but
keeps going. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
And before I ask my last question, where can people connect with you, reach out to you, DM you, distract you more on social media?
So you can find me on Instagram at its.finnii. Also on TikTok at Finnii1111. So 1111. Yes. So feel free to write me, reach out to me, ask questions about, everything about the podcast, about Project Me, or about anything. You can ask me anything. I will reply, and I will get distracted by your by your message. But I would love to connect with you guys. Thank you.
Awesome. And my last question would be, so this is quite a hard one, so please take your time to think about it. And the question is, what do you think will be your biggest future regret? So imagine you are 80 years old, you look back on your life and you think, I wish I have done that, and I'm so sorry that I didn't do this. So now, if we go to you now in this present moment, you already know that there is something that you really, really want to do, but you have not done that yet. What would be that for you?
So for me, as a child, I was very insecure and very not really open-minded, and I was really scared of opinions from other people, and I was scared that they would talk behind my back about me. So I didn't really go out and did the things that I wanted to do. So and because of that, I'm really proud that I started this whole Instagram journey, because if I didn't have done that, that was something I would really regret. So for me, that was a really big lesson I learned, that I just, people will talk and people will, there are always people that are not going to like you, and it's totally okay that not everyone likes you. That, that doesn't really work. So that was something I had to learn on the way. And that's also something, and also the reason I'm here at this podcast today, because for me, it was also a very big challenge, I would say, because we wrote on Instagram, and I told you my native language is German, and I'm really, nervous about, speaking freely in English and, messing up with the words and something like that. And, but I really wanted to do the podcast with you, because I listened, yesterday I was on the train, for 3 hours, and I listened the whole time to your podcast. And, I thought, I really want to do that, and there's nothing that could stop me, even if I mess up the words, or, even if the grammar is not always right, people will understand what I mean in the end. So now I'm really proud that I did it. I'm super happy, to be honest. And I think that is something in the future I'm going to take with me, to learn that, your insecurities are just, you need to overcome them to, learn, and to get to also learn yourself, to get to know yourself better. Because if you just stay always in your comfy zone, you won't grow, and you won't do the things that scares you. That will be at the end the best thing you ever did. like for me, Instagram, if I did it, then my grades wouldn't be that good. I wouldn't have this cool job, and I wouldn't have that cool community. And for example, I wouldn't have the opportunity to be a guest in a podcast, which is also something what people dream about. And so I'm very, very grateful for all of that. And I think for me, something I would regret in the future is just not doing stuff. So it doesn't matter, even if I done it in the future, something, and I would say, okay, that wasn't that nice, but still I did it, and I can say, okay, Finja, I'm proud of yourself. You did it, even though it wasn't that nice. But if you hadn't done it, you would always question yourself, okay, would it be nice? Why didn't I do it? Like, you're still scared and something like that. So that was something I would really regret. So yeah.
I loved your answer. And I just wanted to say, I also wanted to raise this point that you mentioned when you said, oh, English is not my first language. I speak a lot in German. I feel a bit insecure. Will I be able to do the podcast? And I'm so proud of you and actually doing that. And you don't even know how many people personally would not have done that, and how many people you would inspire by doing this, and by coming on here, not being certain about how freely you can speak in English, but actually doing that. And that would just, I'm getting the chills, like I have the goosebumps, because this is exactly what inspires people. When someone does something and just like shows up, doesn't do it perfectly, you can make mistakes, but continues to show up. And that's so inspiring. That's like the fire, right? Because I mean, if if it was like in German, and of course it would be in itself, like doing a podcast is a challenge, but the fact that you've done it in English, I'm so proud of you. I know that it will inspire everyone who just listened this far. They'll be like, oh my God, maybe I can also do this. Maybe I can also send that message or post that picture or do that podcast. And maybe it's not perfect. Maybe nobody will like it, but so what? It's my journey and I'm overcoming my insecurities.
Yes.
So thank you for doing that. It's been very inspiring to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, you mentioned also a very good point, because if you're not getting out of your comfort zone, you don't grow. So for me, doing that podcast was something, like you said, I was very nervous, and but I still, now I can have a day and I think, okay, I accomplished something so great. And also then when I hear the finished podcast, I would be so proud of myself, and I would show, my parents and, my friends and my followers would say, listen to the podcast, me speaking weirdly English. But, it's something, I like it and I love it. I don't know. I'm super happy to be here.
I'm also happy to have you here. Finja, thank you so much for coming onto the show. It was an absolute pleasure.